Hey folks, hope you're doing good today. I'm running late today. Took a sleeping pill last night and it hit me really friggin' hard. And apparently I didn't wake up till about half 4 this afternoon. So man, yeah, got a good long sleep out of it at least anyway. But we're running behind today because of it. Now, today we've got some cool bands on the channel. This might be the music we would normally check out on the Grindcore Mondays because it's some nice, dirty, raw, deathy stuff we've got today. So yeah, we're going to kick it off on the weekend as well. The reason we're doing that is because his first band, they made a priority submission, which was super dope. We don't normally get these kind of bands making the priority submissions. So very, very welcome. This is Brutality in Buddha. He's got a track for us called Mass Shooting Macarena. I think he's a one-man band as well, which you know we love on this channel. So let's check it out.
Das sag ich meiner Mutter. Brutality in Buddha!
Here we go.
Hey shooter, let's go to Vegas. Kiss every single life goodbye. Hey shooter, let's go to Vegas. Bet on guns and watch them die. Bet on guns and watch them die. Mass shooting, Macarena. Killing up people to fill up an arena. Mass shooting, Macarena. Killing up people to fill up an arena. Mass shooting, Macarena. Killing up people to fill up an arena. Mass shooting, Macarena. Killing up people to fill up an arena. Lead with lead, public counts the dead. Mass shooting, Macarena. Sounds like fireworks, it's not fireworks. Mass shooting, Macarena. American fun, he's got a gun. Mass shooting, Macarena. Piles of bodies for everybody. Mass shooting, Macarena. Mass shooting, Macarena. Killing up people to fill up an arena. Mass shooting, Macarena. Killing up people to fill up an arena. Mass shooting, Macarena. Killing up people to fill up an arena. Mass shooting, Macarena. Killing up people to fill up an arena. Lots of people, lots of bullets. Mass shooting, Macarena. Screaming ladies, dying babies. Mass shooting, Macarena. Horrified faces in public places. Mass shooting, Macarena. American fun, he's got a gun. Mass shooting, Macarena. Mass shooting, Macarena. Killing up people to fill up an arena. Mass shooting, Macarena. Killing up people to fill up an arena.
Dope. Loved it. Great sound to this one. Right in your ears. Rawness to it. Sounded great. Love the sound on the drums there and the way the drums built up. Adding the double bass. Adding the blast beat in. That sounded absolutely great. Had a really great energy to it. Love the lyric in there as well. Sounds like fireworks. It's not fireworks. Pretty cool. But yeah, really cool track. We love checking out this kind of raw music on this channel as well. Doesn't always have to be super high polished, high quality music. The raw stuff can sound just as good as any kind of polished professional studio record, because it's just you're not ever gonna get that sound from a studio, right? So if you want this sound, you've got to have a raw mix and kind of breaking those studio rules of just pumping it loud so the guitars sound like they're right coming down your ear holes. But man, I just love it. I think it's a great sound. Not everything has to be super clean and polished. The rawness and the dirtiness and almost the kind of live sound to it can just be a great sound as well. So there you go. Very, very cool. Thanks for the submission. I enjoyed that one a lot. Send in your music whenever you like. Maybe get you in on a grindcore day next time. Now, we got another 2 bands to check out. Pulled these guys out of the queue because they sound nice and raw, nice and dirty, and they got a nice deathy edge to them as well. So, and is from Canada. They're called Skullsplitter. This track's called Dumpster Fire. It's a 2021 demo, so that's probably why it sounds a bit raw. Let's check it out.
2020, not exactly a time traveler's top pick. Yes, it was challenging. Yes, it was weird. And yes, it felt endless. But according to Time magazine, 2020 blew all other rotten years out of the park. For Time, it was the worst year ever.
Yeah. Here we go. Yes, I've set up a special button for this when we get a nice ting on the ride.
Got to see that it's under effect. The single plan that was born to defect. Time to fear that it's not to reject. Which superstar they are going to select. When it's time to begin to contest. All the while they think God to detest. What will be is the right to arrest. Make the task and what they request. No more chance, the time is now. The people want it. Must avoid that time's a fire. One more chance, the time is here. The people think this is all here. Must avoid that time's a fire.
Dope. Here we go, we'll give him another one of them. Now, we had a lot of videos like this in 2020. Too many. We haven't had so many this year. It's not been as bad.
Once again, there is way too much waste. Carry on with this glorious truth. When will they reach the peak we desire? Not until there is no more new higher. At what point will we let you admire? We were free of the souls of support. No more chance, the time is now. The people want it. Lose all. Must avoid that comes of fire. One more chance, the time is here. The people think this is all you. Must avoid that comes of fire.
Go. Man, that explosion was gnarly.
The sacred plan that was born to defect. Time to fear that is not to reject. Which of a star they are gonna select. When will they be the team we desire? Not until there is no one to hire. At what point will we let you admire? When we're fired on the souls of support.
Yeah.
Must avoid that comes of fire. Must avoid that comes of fire.
Sick. Love that one as well. Great thrashiness in this band. Now, we've seen all these clips way too many times of people getting their head bashed in and cops kicking people's heads in and God knows what. And I'm just reminded that we haven't had as many of those this year. So this year is a better year, I would say, even though we're still in the midst of the pandemic and everything else. When you're reminded of last year, yeah, it was a bad one. Really, really sucked. But that was a great track. Loved it. Skullsplitter, cool name as well. So let's finish off with this last band. And I did pull this band out of the grindcore queue because I was struggling to find some raw, deathy bands. And we do get them on the grindcore days pretty regularly. So here's another band to check out, Glista. They've got an official vid to this one called Do It Yourself. Yep. So let's check it out. There's some nice dirty guitar tones. Yeah. That's what you call gutturals. Dope. Well, there you go. That's what you're getting from me today. 3 raw, deathy, thrashy bands as well. Nice amount of thrash in these bands today. Yeah, sounds great. We normally check this kind of sound out on the Monday to kind of jog on the week and get it started nice and loud and raw and dirty. But when you've slept probably most of the day, it's not bad as well on a Saturday to get the kind of juices flowing for the rest of the day as well. Very, very cool. I enjoy this sound very much. You'll know that if you watch this channel. Not every mix has got to be super professional and studio sounding. If all bands sounded like that, music would get very boring very quickly. We need the bands to still sound nice and raw and have all the different types of mixes that come with all of that to give variation and different types of sound to the music. And you'll find that all of these bands probably, you know, if they went to a big professional studio, they'd say, well, can you make us sound nice and raw? Because that's what they want from their sound as well. These aren't guys that, you know, would otherwise sound super crisp and professional, but they just haven't gone to a studio or they can't afford it or something. Even if they went to the best studio in the world, I'm pretty sure all these bands would say, look, we want to sound raw as hell, so don't overproduce us. So there you go. It's not kind of, it's a choice to sound like this is kind of the point I'm getting at. And it's a good choice because it suits the music well. And if it was too polished and too clean and too studio vibe, it would be boring in my opinion. That's why I like listening to underground bands more than the studio bands, because if all you do is listen to high quality professional studio bands, you quickly realize these guys all sound the same. All these mixes kind of sound pretty similar. They've all got the same loudness. You know, I never need to adjust my volume because they're all at the same volume and everything else. And that's cool to a degree, but I actually find it really quite boring. And I much prefer listening to a bunch of bands like this with a rawness to them, where every track sounds different. It's got a different mix. It's got a different tone. The guitars sound totally different. The drums sound totally different as well. And you know, it just comes across the ear in a different way to a professional studio sound. So long live the rawness as far as I'm concerned. And we need that anyway, because I've got to keep getting views on videos on the grindcore days. If we didn't have any more raw bands, that would be the end of that. So if you enjoy this music, come back on Mondays, because every Monday we spin dirty, raw, blasted music just like this, and a lot of it. So we'll see you around, guys. Bye.